on the previous video about how to review partner schools, another question that we get a lot is, can I take courses at an institution where English is not the primary language of instruction? And the answer is generally yes, but it also requires a bit of research on your part. So on our partner university webpage, a good example is going to be if we look at Barcelona, the Autonomous University of Barcelona. Now within this page, when we scroll down, we can see that there's some information on availability and restrictions, and an example here would be psychology, where when you look at the Faculty of Psychology, you have to have a minimum level of B1 in Spanish in order to enroll in courses taught in Spanish. And they have very limited English taught options available there. So if you were to be a psychology student wanting to study at this institution, you should be prepared to take the majority of your courses taught in Spanish, as you may or may not be able to get into the English taught courses. Another example is if we look at Lund in Sweden, and we go onto their website, you can then navigate to where their courses for exchange students are. So when we go into their page, you'll see find courses for exchange students on the right. Every web page is a little bit different in terms of where this information lives. But then when we go and scroll down, you'll see that there's a variety of information for the different disciplines that they have. So let's take a look at social sciences while we're on the topic of psychology. And we're going to look at courses within the social sciences area. And scrolling down, you can see again here, psychology. And within this, you'll have information on the courses that are available. And these will be taught in English. Another example will be at Uppsala in Sweden. And when we navigate to their website, click in and into their webpage, we'll be able to look at the courses that are available for exchange students. So you can see on here, course catalog is right there. It's very easy to find. Sometimes it's a bit more difficult on our partner pages to find where their course catalog is. But once we're on this page, you can see show more filters and the language of instruction. Now when we click English, you'll see that before we filter, there's 970 options available. Once we go down to just English, it does go down to 904, and then that will vary considerably by the academic level of the course. So is it undergraduate, is it graduate? So there's additional filters that you can put on sometimes, and this is more useful in some partners than others, but it's just an example of what's out there. And so we look at level and we'll see that we want bachelor's level courses, and now it goes down to 288. So across Europe, there are courses taught in English at the undergraduate level, but there's always more at the graduate level. So you need to make sure that you're aware of what level those courses are. If you have questions, that's part of what we're here for, is to help you guide you through this process. So once we go into that, you'll see that there are less options available. Go into department on this one, scroll down to psychology, and you'll see once we've applied that filter that there's even less hits. So there's only 4. So there are 4 options available across the year for Uppsala in psychology for English taught options. So does this work for you? Maybe, maybe not. Depends partly on what your remaining degree requirements are. Are you okay to take some elective courses as well? Every school is a little bit different. Another option that's available would be to look at a partner school like Geneva, where they don't have a lot of courses taught in English necessarily. Some departments have a few options, some don't. But what you can do is you can take courses that are taught in French at Geneva. Although it's in Switzerland, their primary language of instruction is in French. And if you do take a course taught in French, let's say it's a psychology course and you have high enough proficiency in French to take a psychology course taught in French, then you could earn either psychology credit for that course or French credit. So it's just another thing to be aware of when you're looking at the language of instruction is if you have proficiency in the native language for the country you're going to, then you can look to take courses taught in that language, and they can transfer back either as subject-specific material or for the language credit. An exception to that is with engineering. Engineers have to take their courses taught in English for accreditation purposes. If you do take an engineering course taught in another language, you should just not expect that course to transfer back for credit, as it does have to be taught in English for that accreditation piece.